Hola, amiguis. I hope everybody's having a good day. I have to post a YouTube really quick because I forgot to do it this morning. I am a fool. Quick! Quickly! Okay, I did it. Alright, let's get started. I'm eating a bagel. Waiting for you to show me how to stay. Bagel. I don't know. Oh. So y'all, I had a revelation. I'm full. And I had a revelation. I don't need to do an expression sheet for Dimitri because he has no face. He has a block. And I don't need to. I am a fool. In other words, that was a silly Billy decision on my part. I was thinking about it way too hard. And I don't need to worry about that. And I am a silly Billy. That's all I have to say. Is just I am clearly the world's largest silly Billy. But a fool I was. And I love the fact that I don't have to work nearly that hard. Okay, this is where this gets kind of ridiculous, though. Okay, that looks good. So it should be the smiley face. This one. Now I gotta like keep tweaking this thing until it's like in the right position. Damn, that was not what I wanted. I have to do this all at once or not at all. Otherwise, it messes with my ability to tweak specific stuff. That'll do. Getting these boxes is really like actually high key kind of the worst. All right, better. I do feel bad that B's like sheet is less complicated simply because he doesn't have a head. All right. I really like that his sleeves for his sweater go down in such a way that they're like really baggy. I love that for him. That's really fun to draw. Whisper, whisper on the eye. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put the phone in here. It's roughly where it's gonna be, so I'm not gonna worry about drawing anything crazy here. Let me... Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess we're just moving on to Rolo, really. Okay, so that's it. Let me get... Okay. Now, I'm going to glaze a couple of images here really fast. Update my website. That way I'm not just hoarding this content until it's like all done. I didn't glaze any of this stuff. And now we get to chill out while I eat this bagel and wait for this to go. Boy howdy, don't I love my teacup just dribbling water on me? So good. Hey, Cal, thank you so much for that sub-baroni. How you doing? Me too. Oh, that reminds me too. Hold on. Let me get the fuck over to your channel. I always have to do this manually because the Prime subs don't like go over, which is so annoying. Yeah! Okay, there you go. You got one too. Brilliant. Oh god. Choose. Yeah, well, it's what's really lame is it's like Amazon knows that I have a subscription. So like, why is it making me do this again if it knows that it can just automatically look for my Prime subscription? Demons. Like, it would make more sense if Amazon would be like, or if Twitch would be like, yeah, so if you want to switch your Prime subscription from one user to another, you can only do it once a month, and it makes you verify. It's like, hey, are you sure you want to switch your subscription from, like, Lear the Witch to, I don't know, whoever else you follow, and then you click yes, and then it'll switch it over, and then you can't do that again for a whole month. But otherwise, it'll just keep automatically charging the Prime subscription. That makes way more sense to me. But, you know, I only am smart sometimes. Not that smart. Hydrate. I just did actually. I'm drinking more Wu Yi Da Hong Pao today. So that is that clay-based Wulong. It is very good. I sold a shitload of tea at my convention that I went to this weekend, which was great. Dirt. Yeah, it's got this... It's almost like... God, I'm trying to, like, describe the flavor. It's like when you have food out of a ceramic bowl and you kind of get that, like, remnant taste of the clay flavor. That's what it tastes like. It's like, this is Wulong tea, but then there's, like, that little back note of, like, I licked the inside of a pot, and it's actually kind of delightful. We're waiting for this thing to glaze so I can update my website. It's taking a very long time. Also, I had a revelation. I was going to do expression sheets for Blockhead, but guess who can't make expressions? Because his head is made of wood. So there you go. What liquid do you have today? I licked the inside of a pot, and I'm not mad about it, to be honest. It's, yep. Yep. Everything is bananas. Did you hear the rapture's supposed to happen tomorrow? Yes, everyone left behind should get free healthcare since we will be staying in hell. That makes logic sense to me. It makes sense. Nursing a pot of campfire tea from Adagio. That sounds delightful. Sounds delightful. I finished my sample bag of the Formosa. I like the wood Wulong. I haven't had that one yet. I'll have to try that one. That sounds delicious. Sorry, I'm sending marketing advice to somebody. Okay, we're free! We did it. We glazed it. The con was great. I love this convention so much because it in itself, what I like about it is, and like this was what I was trying to explain to my mom, is that the convention lets people in for free, and so people are more likely to buy the like actual merchandise from authors or from the artists or from the vendors in there rather than they blew all their money on the ticket, you know what I'm saying? And so everybody benefits in that way. This particular convention is also run by a library district, and so their goal is to not make like $1 billion. Their goal is to make people happy and to have a good time and to make sure that all of their like people invested are having a good time. And that to me is very cool. So, I love that, and it's always a delight. I always make like a crazy amount of money, which is really cool. And I'm definitely like, obviously money is not everything, and making connections is also equally just as important, which is why this convention is particularly good for that as well. I got so many newsletter signups. It was insane. So let me get these in here. Hi, Simon. How's it going? Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. We're waiting for things to upload. Slowly updating my portfolio on my website. I have to do SEO for stuff eventually. I am slowly learning what SEO is and how to do it. And I feel smart. Man, I would just like to say, I love the Sonic the Hedgehog fanfiction people, okay? So I occasionally post videos on TikTok where I ask people what their writing projects are. I'll talk about mine briefly. People will get back to me, which is really fun. And this one. My first and longest writing project so far is a Sonic the Hedgehog fanfic where he goes back to Camelot and becomes King Arthur. And I'm like, where did you even pull that from your brain? And I love that. I love that for them. Like, I think there was a video game like that for Sonic, actually. I don't know enough about Sonic to know, like, I don't know. Okay, now we got these uploaded. Let's get these in here. I gotta make sure they're in the right order. So that way I can just kind of have this go. And then let me add in Blockhead stuff now. Ah, Sonic and the Black Knight. Well, there you go. There we go. Okay. Yep, so otherwise that was great. I did see, speaking of Sonic, a very good Dr. Eggman cosplay and a super good Kane cosplay, actually. They were both excellent. Oh, and a fantastic Raven cosplay as well. Those were definitely like the top three highlights. A lot of it for this convention is kids underneath the age of like, I feel like, I don't know, under the age of like, maybe like 14, if I had to guess, give or take. And so it's a lot of like little kids running around. That's not necessarily a bad thing at all, but it definitely is a different tone of a convention versus this other one that I'm going to for the first time this year. It'll be the first and last time since I'm not going to be here in the States anymore, but it's called DokuCon, and it's an 18+ convention. So there's going to be lots of lewd art, but most importantly, no children. And people are actually there to spend money, which is interesting. And not to say that the kids aren't, You just have to plan really cleverly to make sure that they have stuff that they can afford to buy, because otherwise the kids are sad. We don't like sad kids. That makes me unhappy. That makes me upsetty spaghetti, you know what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm slowly waiting for these to upload. They're getting there. I'm making it happen. Oh, this is such an autumn song. Night in the Woods is such a blockhead game. Oh, that's nice of your mom. Your mom's the best. I hope your mom's doing good. Cal, when I move to Vancouver, you know what this means, right? This means that I can pay for you to have a plane ticket and you can come and visit me. Over in Vancouver. We can go eat some, I don't know, some Chinese food or something. Alright, great. And then this is... I need to go like this, this, this. Okay, great. Alright, cool. Now I'm going to save this, and then we're going to move on to Rollo. Oops, all Rollo. I'm so stoked. Alright, so I have to figure out if I want to... Okay, so first we're going to say image, duplicate. We're going to call this Rollo. And then I have to figure out... I'm going to open Daz really quick. I have a Rollo model, but I have to figure out if I want to stylize him more. So let me open up two. I have the character lineup over here. Because they're still relatively humanoid. They're not necessarily super stylized, but I would like to stylize the figures more. Like the... Let me see... Okay, because I have this Rollo model already. I almost want his legs to be really long and his torso to be super short, so hold on. How do I... Oh, so that's going to be waist, I think. We're going to start there. Waist... torso length. So let me bring his torso down a little bit, because this man has comically large legs, or long legs. And then let me go legs, and then we're going to go legs length and bring his height back up in his legs. That makes sense. Okay, see you soon. You know how to make me cry. Yay, Jace gets to come home for lunch today. Because I'm going to build him kind of like Liz, because like as much as they don't want to look like each other, I think that they do. Let me see here. I know that this could potentially be, like, really broken, but we're gonna... Yeah, and I recognize that this is very stylized looking. It's going to look wild. But I think it's going to be right. Okay, let's see. I think I'm gonna fix. I reduced the thighs down a lot, but I think I'm going to actually bring that back up a little bit. I'm doing like a 360 on Rollo here to really make sure that his anatomy looks good. I think I am going to kind of narrow his waist down a little bit. There we go. Okay, I think this is, oh, well, maybe the neck too. Hopefully it's not too stylized. Welcome back. Ever since getting this teapot, I somehow have consumed more and less tea at the same time. That sounds like wizardry. There we go. Okay, all right. Okay. I think I have got it. File, save as, support asset, figure prop asset. We're going to save it as Rollo, save, yes, replace, accept. All right, so now I can get rid of this, and we're going to do some thumbnails, some Rollo thumbnails. I have a very solid idea of what his wardrobe looks like, so then that's where this gets tricky. And it's tough because throughout a lot of the very first book, I have him in suits. But I think it just depends on the day. Or, well, it's more like blazers. Okay. So let me see if I can get like a pretty casual pose for him. Yeah, nice. And let me just move this in a little bit of a 3/4 kind of a way here. I wonder how I just rotate side to side in Daz without tilting the camera up. There's got to be a better way. One day I'll find it. I really don't want Rollo's arms to do weird stuff. All right. Does he have funky anatomy now? Yes, but I do think that this is going to be the right way. All right, let me go down here. We're going to delete all this stuff. I'm going to paste that. Oh, we got to censor it quick before Bezos freaks out. Oh, no. Oh, God. We're okay. Making a second steep at the campfire. I find I really enjoy woodsy and smoky teas. Too bad the Athos tea, I don't really like sell that anywhere, but that's like a Lapsang Souchong tea, and it tastes like you shoved your head in a fireplace. Okay, I gotta make a little like naked body Rollo, like design doll style Rollo that we can use for this whole process here. And I need to be able to... Actually, I'm going to switch brushes here. Thankfully, I have a really good idea of what he looks like. And so I'm not going to have like that big of a problem figuring him out. And I need to make sure his shape design is just really good. Okay, because then let's get this going. And then we don't worry about anything else. And then let me go through really quick and just kind of make the outline of the body come to me. And I really want to like exaggerate certain parts of the anatomy because that's fun. He's definitely, I want him to have like a triangle shape out of everybody because definitely Blockhead is a square. Brady to some extent is squares and circles. Kara is also to some extent squares and circles. And then I would argue even Dimitri is almost like, he's almost like squares and triangles. But Rollo is definitely like a hard triangle with some square attributes. So I really need to be able to get that to go. Actually, I'm really happy with this under anatomy for now. This is already looking super, super good in terms of just like body shape. I just needed to make his legs really long. That was the secret. This man needed to have like tree trunk legs, clearly. Okay, let's see. Married to the moving on. All right. Look at this little man's legs. Okay, so all right, so now let's make 2, 3. He almost has like a superhero silhouette. I need to like spread these bad boys out actually. A little small army of Rollos. He's fine. Okay, so now let's see here. I'm going to start with... Okay. I'm thinking about outfit choice here. I'm going to start with... I think like a windbreaker. But really like exaggerate like triangle shapes on his body, hopefully will be the goal. And then we have to figure out which Rollo is the best Rollo by the end of all of this. Which Rollo is the superior Rollo? Everybody hydrate. The Rollo to rule them all, right? Actually, speaking of Rollo, hold on, we're gonna listen to Rollo's music. Ah, yes, a good start. This is still the sexiest concert I've ever been to. Holy shit. Whoa. To satisfy you. Z does this camp-ass shit when he performs this song where he's like, is that a thunderstorm coming in? And it's like a bunch of lightning sounds, and I'm like, bro. Rolling like thunder. You ready when it comes down? It won't make a sound, you'll run for cover. Hope you're happy, I hope you're happy. what you came here for. Let me see. Hey. All right, let me see if I can find like actual sweatpants from the 80s here. It goes up, and it just won't stop rolling like thunder. Okay, yeah, this looks exactly how I would expect. At least Rollo has access to his wardrobe. And that, like, it's kind of bizarre. Like, Gran, to some degree, was like, yeah, I want to save your wardrobe so you feel comfortable in the house. But it's really, I think, like a placation tool. I don't think that she actually cared about how he felt to any degree. It was just like, if I make him happy, he'll do what I want. It's like, okay. I only cry when I'm laughing. I'm only dry when it rains. If I let this happen, I'm not ready for change. I'm gonna bring this pant leg out a little bit more. And then, really, this is pretty easy. This is just a sneaker. Probably like an Adidas or some shit, like not anything super crazy. And then probably like lightning patterns across the front of this thing. So let me actually just kind of sketch that in, because I would like to have this like really big V, like it's effectively like a triple V here. Actually, yeah. It's like zombie love. And then maybe like some like tracksuit pattern down the side, like a stripe or something. Yeah, because I need to work a lot more on my like stylization, even for like regular humans. And I think now that I'm more comfortable. This is typically how art goes, where you get really comfortable with anatomy, and then you move away from anatomy back into stylization again. And that's kind of, I think, where I'm at. Okay. Next one is going to be a blazer. Again, we're going to put shoulder pads effectively in everything that he's wearing. This is going to be his default, unfortunately, I think, for a lot of these outfits, but that's not the worst. And then, this is more... Oh, and then I can't forget putting him in a fucking... in a fucking straw fedora, because that's really important. Or a boater. Yeah, it's not a fedora, it's a boater. Yeah. No, but see, I don't know if I want the circle of a boater. Yeah, this is better. Okay. Yeah. Whoa, Photoshop, why? Photoshop was like, rotate forever. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I was just clicking between my reference image and you, like, holy God. Okay, so then he's in a crop top. But I will define that in a second. We're going to have kind of this bell shape for the bottom of the blazer. And then jeans. So it's a straight leg. Straight. This is the straightest thing about him. I feel bad. I have a lot of sapphic girls come to my booth to look for sapphic fiction. And I'm like, I do not have that. I am a gay trans man. I do not write the lesbos. And I love them. I love those lesbians. I love them to death. Those girls from the Isle of Lesbos. But I do not do that. I'm like, sorry, trans girlies, this is all I know. And eventually, well, I mean, like, Liz is a hardcore lesbian as well, but, like, I just don't talk about that in the books, unfortunately. Sneakies. And then, let's get a fedora on his ass. And I probably will have this fedora eat shit and die at some point during this short. Because he's literally phasing through walls and jumping at people. So, like... Let's see. I need to actually draw this hat in a way that makes sense. That'll do. I don't have to do a detailed ass hat yet. It works. I'm actually not going to put any detail on the hat. But what I am going to do... is a nice little... Oh, it's time to feed the Snorlax. If you haven't had a snack yet, please go get a snack or lunch. Feeling numb. Right and left hand, give me all your diamonds. I'm not a huge fan of the hips on this. We got better. Okay, that's not a bad start. Okay, and then this one is going to be truly the gayest. This is the most Z Machine outfit, truly. Maybe like a nice like watch or something over here. Obviously some crew socks. I feel like thankfully he has like one pair of shoes that he wears, maybe two. Like that's pretty straightforward. I don't feel like I need to do much. But I do want this to be like a really low like scoop neck. And I think I'm gonna do like a set of like, I don't know, like Dorito shaped, you know, 90s motifs or some shit. Like that one cup. Okay, I'm feeding my Snorlax. He consume. Yep, that water cooler cup. I can't even tell you. Okay, so I have explicit memories from that period. And the water that came in those cups tasted such a specific way. I can still taste it to this day. And it must have been something to do with the coating that was inside that cup or the type of filter that they would use on that, like, water cooler water. But, like, holy shit. It was the most refreshing, most minerally water. Truly, like, god tier water, like... Okay, the Snorlax has been sated. Alright, so now... I'm going to do a little bit more traditional to what I normally have drawn him in the past. This is going to be the most typical Rolo outfit, truly. Pulling me back into my body. Damn it, Rolo. Okay, so then I guess I get to do... Actually, I'm really lazy and I don't want to do this twice, so I'm going to just go like this. Actually, I'm going to do another watch here, and then we're going to do some other stuff there. Nice little accessories. Would Rollo wear bell-bottoms? No, that's a little bit after his time. Or it's not after his time, before his time. He's not really... Because he would have been, like, 10 in the 70s. So, more likely, he was wearing, like... Let me find some images. He would have been wearing that when he was, like, little. So I do see him wear... More so, it would have probably been more like this. Where it's like... You can see that these aren't true bell-bottoms. They're flare-legged. But they're not necessarily bell-bottoms, if that makes sense. And by the time that he became a teenager, he would have stopped wearing these things, I think, because they would have very quickly come out of fashion. Or like this. This, I think, is a pretty good example of what kids were wearing at the time, too. They're still straight-leg pants, but they're, like, really wide. Really, really wide. So definitely it was an interesting time. Now, could I see him wearing a little romper? Little romper as a little child? Absolutely. This would have been him. Gran wouldn't have known. She would have been like, this is fine. Here you go. Actually, this is literally a canon photo of Liz and Rollo in fucking 1976 now. In matching little rompers. That's funny to me. But yeah, as an adult, definitely not. Because a lot of where he was making his individual, like, I guess, like, claim to, I don't know, like, his own identity, I guess would be the way that I would say that. Because your most formative years are your 20s. You know, that's, like, really just kind of the reality of it. And so for him, that would have been in the 80s. And, that would have been the time for him to decide what his fashion really, like, looked like. So a lot of his fashion tends to focus more on, I think, like, yeah, late 80s, or mid to late 80s and early 90s motifs. And then, of course, he got run over by the train in 1994. So, because he would have been considered, like, very cool in Russia because he was, like, an American with updated fashion. What was going on in the Soviet Union at the time was a lot of isolationism. And so it was to the point where he actually got to see Star Wars released twice because it was released first. The first Star Wars came out, I think, in 76. 77. It came out in 77, and then it was re-released in Russia. It screened in Russia for the first time in, like, 1990 something, because Russia was so closed off from the world at the time that it was, like, impossible for anybody to get anything that was, like, pop culture, because there was, like, this portion of their identity and a time where it was like they were so anti-capitalist that it was like you can't even watch American movies because it will corrupt you away from the purest ideas of communism, which, of course, this is nothing to do with actual economic communism and more to do with authoritarian control. But that resulted in a lot of people not really being up to date in the Soviet Union. But you still had a very thriving, this is a good example, punk scene. These guys did not give a singular fuck. And it's still very true. And it's not to say that they were, like, trapped in, like, a time capsule. And there were some things, obviously, that were keeping up with the time, you know, but, like, certain things were just, like, not allowed because of, the history of the way things went. And there was this, like, I think, this very weird clash between, like, we want to be up to date and we want to... But, like, you can see how this came out of an 80s magazine, and this looks like a 1950s almost outfit. You know, the skirt length is very long. The blouse is very conservative. You know, so there's a lot of, like these girls look like they are from the 1950s and 60s. These girls do not look, and they're wearing bell bottoms, right? So you can see that there's this weird, it was like a weird lag, a time lag for these people. And you had a conflict of, no, we are trying to keep up to date. We want to participate in the world. You know, we want to go shopping at the Goom. We want to, you know, go and participate in department stores and, like, all of this stuff. But then at the same time, it was like, no, you're not allowed. Because this lady's American. She's an American reporter. So it's kind of interesting. And so he would have been considered very cool, but they also, too, wanted him to appeal to Americans. Nope, not shopping at the Goom, which is ironically across from Lenin's grave. Spelled G-Y-M, pronounced Goom, department store. It is this massive shopping mall. This is the mall. It's crazy. Fucking nuts. Like, holy shit, this mall is huge. You know, if I'm being real, not great, Ava. Not doing very good. And Jace is also not doing very good. He's been having the fibro flare-up of all fibro flare-ups. And, that's, it's been really, really rough. It is the mall. Yeah, no, like, legitimately. In a society where you're trying to avoid capitalism at all costs, that was, like, the only shopping mall. Like, it's one of the biggest shopping malls anyway, or would have been at the time. I'm trying to think about what to do for this last outfit here. I'll do a longer sleeve shirt. This is probably not what I'm going to stick with, but yeah, you know, hanging in there. The United States is slowly becoming very inhospitable, and it feels like we have a guillotine that's, like, coming down on our necks, and it's not been fun. I learned a bunch of weird fun facts about the Goom recently, and the first was that, one, it's right across Lenin's grave, so you go from, like, a shrine to a communist leader to, literally, capitalism, just right across the street, which is super ironic and very, very funny, and I love that for them. And then, on top of that, I learned that Stalin's, like, I think it was, like, his second wife was, like, she had a wake in the Goom. And so it's very weird. This guy that was, like, super anti-capitalist was like, yes, I will have an open casket wake for my dead wife in the Goom. It's like, okay. So people are, like, trying to shop, and then it's like this lady's dead body is just in there. Like, can you even imagine? Well, and it's super sad because Lenin didn't want to be buried in, like, a sarcophagus because they have his dead body effectively ultra embalmed in, like, a glass sarcophagus like he's a saint inside the Lenin Memorial. And he didn't want that. He wanted to be buried in a pauper's grave or next to his mother. And so I feel like low-key kind of bad because his wishes were definitely not respected. And a lot of Russians don't go and visit him. Not because they didn't like Lenin. Because, like, people will leave, like, we have a statue of Lenin in Seattle. And every year on his birthday, people leave, like like flowers for him, which is really cool. But they don't really go to see him in Russia because, like, I think a lot of people recognize that that's not really what he would have wanted, and it's, like, kind of disrespectful. But, like, Putin literally won't bury him. Even though people have, like, legitimately been protesting for a while to, like, get him buried. Oh, actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm cooking here. Wait a second. Undo. I'm actually going to roll up his pant legs here. I recognize I have a lot of characters at this point with, like, rolled up pant legs, but with, like, or in this particular shot. That's okay. This is fine. Lord, they don't make them like me anymore. Like rolled up jeans, I think. And then sneakers again. We're just gonna put him in sneakers this whole short, I think. I don't imagine it'll be anything else. I would have some variety in there, like a button or something. And then this is like tucked in. Okay. Alright, y'all. We gotta vote. I'm not gonna set up a Twitch poll because I'm lazy. But if you had to pick a Rolo, which one is your favorite Rolo? It costs a lot of money to keep him presentable. So funny story about how the Lenin body actually it's embalmed. Like it'll live forever. Like the body itself is not the problem. The mausoleum is the issue. And like they recently pulled Lenin's body off of display because the roof is like caving in and there's like black mold growing everywhere. And it's like very intense. Oh hey Fishy, what's up? Okay, we got 2 votes for 4. Anybody else? Anyone else? So yeah, it feels like the spirit of Lenin is trying to collapse the buildings so that way you just like go into the great beyond. I'm like, no. Vladimir. Okay, I think that's pretty much all the voties. Okay, it's Rolo. This number 4 is truly the most traditional Rolo, which is funny actually. I did a drawing at some point of Brees in one of Rolo's jackets. Not that one. I think about this drawing a lot. Stole his jacket. And his flared jeans. Pretty great. Pretty good. Alright, so 4 it is. Okay, so we got jeans, sneakies. Truly the Rolo-iest of all Rolo thumbnails. And honestly, would he wear all of these outfits? Yes, but for the sake of this short, we're going to put him in this. Changed so much since I last saw your hands in my hair. How very dare you, ding ding. Okay. Boop. 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 All right. I hope you are doing okay, though, Fishy. Okay. Alright, goodbye, Rolo. Now we get to do a turnaround. Alright, get rid of this. Oh, why did I close as? Why would I do this to myself? I needed this. Oh, wait, it's still open. Oh, that was weird. Oh, the, like, icon's not showing up over there. I'm so confused. I can't join most streams because of school. No, that's valid. That's okay. Yeah, most people work during the day, too. I recognize this is, like, my work time. For my work day. Alright, let me get the most, like, unnecessarily flirty Rolo pose. I've been saving my whole life for this. Let's see. No, that's not quite right. Sure. Actually, no, too somber. Okay, I need to fix the gestures of this thing really bad. Need to give him some mad tilt. There we go, better. Alright, let me just load up these poses really fast. I'm gonna need that fedora. And we're gonna do... Oh wait, I'm a fool. I'll save this for later. This goes in poses. I am a dummy. I don't need this. We're doing a turnaround right now. I don't know why my brain was like, we're doing this completely other thing. Okay. I'm just gonna drop the... Oh, wait. Actually, I can't do this way either. Damn it. Okay. Hold on, I got it. Why would they do this to me? I hate Photoshop so much. I don't know if it's Windows having the issue or if it's Photoshop having the issue. Okay, there we go. So then I'm going to go back over here. I'm just going to try and not accidentally trigger Bezos. Trigger the rage of the bees. Okay, left side. Thankfully, Rolo is an easy man. The hat is going to be the worst part. I don't know why I do this to myself every time. And then I probably should have a shot of him with no hat. Or at least like a detail shot of his head without a hat. Like a ghost. Why would you do this to me? This is like small enough that I don't think anybody's gonna care. Hello? There we go. Alright. Alright. Mr. Beezy? Mr. Beezy? Yeah, true. But I don't think that this needs to be censored, but I'm gonna censor this just in case. I'm scared. I don't know. I don't know what Bezos will do on the regular average day. Like, anything could happen. I could unlock a Bezos level of rage and I wouldn't know it. Okay, so now, all of these get to be reduced by this much opacity so we can't see it. And then oh. Okay, unfortunately, Rollo is very lonk. And by lonk, I mean wide. And he's also low-key kind of tall, actually, so I need to move this in a way to where he actually will fit. That's pretty much as good as it'll get. Okay, Rollo. Scrunkle Rollo. True. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so now I have to really think about what I'm doing and how I want to stylize these faces, because Brady's stylization is completely different than what I normally have. So we have this upper lid, upper eye, lower eye. So I really want to make sure that his... Oh, let me get some symmetry on here, actually. Because then I can have some pretty intense sharp I'm not a fan. So now the question is how do I want to do these eyebrows? You know what? Hold on, I'm gonna... realize I draw Disney brows really. Which ain't a problem. Okay, let's see. How do I want to do this? I have to think about shape really specifically. Oh, thank you for deleting that message, Cal. Appreciate it. Just kidding, we're not doing this. No. Truly, that should be fine. Sorry, hold on. I gotta check up on stuff with my boss really quick. I wish that this lady would just not do this way, but... Okay, let me check one more thing while this lady is doing this, because otherwise I'm going to have a problem. Give me just a second. Why? I just want to draw. Okay, she fucking updated it. Okay, we're good. We're okay. Never mind, I can get back to my life now. She gave me everything that I needed. Let me see. I have to try and think of how I want to do this. I'm not a huge fan of these eyes. I need to think about... Sorry, I'm looking up about 1 million references now. I'm trying to think of cartoon characters with triangle-shaped eyes. And this is not working for me. Because I'm getting a lot of characters with really good... triangle-shaped faces, shape design, or anime characters with triangle-shaped eyes, but this does not help me necessarily. And I don't necessarily want to give this character, like, really pointed eyes necessarily, because then that can give the impression of, like, Asian facial features, which is not what I want. Sorry, I'm looking through about 1 billion references right now. And for whatever reason in my brain, I'm just completely blanking on, like, any and all, like, cartoon characters, which is rough. Or art styles that I really liked. Mother Booker. All right. Maybe... watched Kim Possible in a minute. I'm like, what is... Oh, no, not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm gonna have to just do what I need to do. Alright, we're gonna try this. Not super... Okay, that's not bad. Okay, this is not bad. That's fine. I'm gonna leave it alone. We're gonna see what this looks like after I get done with this nose, which... I'm gonna have to do the nose in a second. There is no cooking. This is all struggle. I feel like the problem is that the art style is difficult to pull off because this eye shape in particular lends itself really, really well to kids, but not to adults. Which is fine, because if you're watching a kid's show, you know, you're looking mostly at the kid. Which is, you know, it is what it is. Actually, I'm gonna... But trying to get this to actually do what I need it to do. Damn. Maybe I should be looking at Invincible. I don't know the name of this dad. I have not seen Invincible at all. The only thing I've seen from Invincible is that fucking clip where he literally beats the shit out of his son, and that's all I know. So I'm almost wondering if I actually need to have something more like this. Because I like Invincible's art style. It's more along the lines of, like, realism for the most part. Okay, I like that shape more. And then I'm going to have to turn symmetry off for a second. Does this... Well, I don't know if I want to do that or if I want to do that. I think that's the answer. And then that's how that's gonna go. And then I think I'm actually going to rework the shape of this mustache. Because true chevrons are pretty soft. But I think I'm going to have it be more triangle shaped. Well, I don't know if I want it to be that long. And I don't want it to be too wide either. Let's see. He does. He has a broken nose from getting punched in the face about 18 times, truly. He's fine. Okay, so I don't want his hair to be symmetrical. Let me work on the actual face. Yeah. This is probably going to take the longest. That was probably the worst of it, to be real. Yeah, that's fine. All right, we decided what? Let's see. A t-shirt. Okay, and then I'll work on the hair in a second. I just really want to make sure, yeah, we got like everything that we need out of shape. Hold on, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check to see where Jace is at, because I realized he sent me that he was on his way home for lunch. Oh, okay, never mind. Never mind. He made it. We're good. Hi.
My lunch.
Cool.
Yep. So now I'm just vibing.
Okay, alright. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. I didn't know. A little bit too much here. And that's fine. And then it's a crop top. This is the devil. No, I need to turn symmetry off for that. Yep, I do, and I'm about to be in a really, really bad spot. But I have reference for it already, thankfully. And when I do the storyboards, I'm not going to have to worry about that so much, thankfully. But you're right, it's going to be a massive issue for the actual turnarounds and artwork itself. Oh, and I need to do that later. Okay, I'll worry about the belt in a second. And then I have to worry about that in a second. Let's see, we're going to do jeans. Yeah, and I don't know if that'll be a detail that I include in my storyboards, because a lot of the times the storyboards don't include that much detail. But I would like to do cinematic paintings and things like that at some point for this project. You know, so eventually that's going to have to happen. This is what I get for randomly picking a scene in which Rollo is, like, chasing a child around the house because he's a menace. Yeah, Rollo, it is. It's choose violence first. That's definitely the overall vibe. So that's looking good. I need to rename this layer. What in the... I don't need you. Okay, so he's got like 2 bracelets. Let me see what we're looking at here. I don't really imagine him wearing like punk bracelets. So it looks like chains are going to be chains and maybe like a leather bracelet. Oh, but chain bracelets were really popular, it looks like, actually. Okay, that gives me that answer. I'll worry about that in just a second, though. I have to try and think about what we're going to be looking at here for any kind of, let me see. Okay, so Reeboks were not really like that crazy. Literally. And they actually had a flat bottom too. Okay, that's fine. And then I'll have to do that in a second. And then I also have to do his stupid hat. I have to do one with a hat and one without a hat. I'm probably going to do the 3/4 angle without the hat. Because that hat is definitely coming off at some point. Like, if you slide around a corner chasing a child, it's not going to stay on your head, and that's just the way that that goes. I just love how he assumes that this child has lunch money on him. He's like, yes, I am willing to bully a child for lunch money. It's like, sir... Well, first and foremost, I think I'm actually going to do this like this. So we'll have one like this, and then one that is just a gold bracelet for the sake of ease. And then on this side, we're going to have a watch. It's just a gold watch. Thankfully, this is animation, so I don't have to do anything crazy. Oh, yeah, that's good, though. I'm sorry you're, like, sleepo people. It's a mood. I am not, like, functioning as a human being. I really, really, really wanna say, is it, sometimes when I draw lightnings, I draw them real good. And sometimes when I draw them real bad. Like this one. That's fine. Okay, did I have any accessories around his neck? I don't think so. Sketchfab's about to be my best friend here. Oh my god, Sketchfab, thank you so much. Oh my god. To all of the artists on Sketchfab who make 3D models of random shit, I appreciate you so much. Too wide. Looks silly from this angle, but it'll make sense. Okay, so now we have hat from that angle. Symmetry off. So now we're gonna go like this. And now I don't necessarily want his hair to be symmetrical, but I do want these, like, I need some, like, triangle-shaped pieces here. Just some really quick pieces. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I don't think we have too many issues here. Yeah, that's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Oh, guess who has not saved the Rollo document this whole time? It was me. Okay, so now we suffer. Guaranteed these 30 minutes are going to be spent. Where's the one with the eggs? This is not the best drawing of all time, but this will help me. Okay, so these stars are important, but I'm not going to see them. So we're looking at, I'm going to do a new layer because I just want to be able to turn these off if I need to. I got these, as somebody who now has blackout tattoos, I deeply respect and appreciate his dedication to this much ink, because ouch. Actually, it looks like this is fine. We're fine. 1 and then 2. Thankfully, I did all these drawings of him before, because otherwise this would be literally awful. I'm trying to figure out if I want to do a turnaround sheet of what these tattoos look like, and probably that would be wise. And I might just do what they look like from the front and then from the back as like a sleeve. But I think that'll be the last thing that I do for this whole sheet here. Because unfortunately he has... Well, and the question is for animation, how do I simplify this down? Because, of course, if you're working in 3D, it doesn't matter. Because I'm trying to think of the simplest way that I could possibly do this. Because this is really where... Yes. Where this matters. Hold on. Because... the reality is what I don't want to have happen is I don't want to be... Like, if I were an animator, you know, and, like, I were to try and 2D tackle something like Maui, like, that would be ridiculous. So I need to make these the most simple things of all time. And it's not going to look like 100% right, but it at least will have some degree of simplification, and that's fine. And then color will do the rest of the work. Just so that way I don't have to suffer. So now I have to look at this side and ask myself the question... Okay, now what? This is somehow all Rollo's fault. Photoshop, can you please not? Okay, really simple. Really simple. Like, Kim Possible simple. And then color. If I flip this way, actually, okay. I'm just gonna do some really basic shapes here. Like nothing crazy. Like that. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad. If I was like animating that, that wouldn't be bad. Okay, now I'm thinking about maybe changing this design. Damn it sucks because actually what I have is pretty damn accurate for what I need. But I need to be able to simplify down. Simplify down. Because he's got the eyes. Those are really important. Okay, let me see. Because the eyes are going to be one of the more important symbols to throw in here, but you can't really see them because of the oh, these are beside the abs. You can't really see them because of the shirt, which is kind of a benefit. And actually, I probably should do like some tears, and that's fine. And the skulls are fine, but those end up being here, and we can't really see them. And I'm gonna try and avoid doing the text. I really should avoid the text here. Okay, I'm fine. I'm having a breakdown. I'm just gonna do 2 shapes here to give the illusion of tattoos, but I'm not gonna worry about the actual execution of it, and people can, you know, fill in the blanks here, and maybe like some flowers or like leaves or something, so that way it's, yeah, there's clearly stuff going on there. Okay, well that was a nightmare. That's my nightmare. But it could be worse. I only have about 20 more minutes, but I'm going to start with oh, I wish that this model wouldn't tilt weird when I put this up. Hydrate! I will finish my tea. Yeah, so I'm going to have to just pretty intensely go in. Let's see, it looks like the back of the hat is here. And hold on, the top of the hat sits on his forehead like that. So we have that going like that. hat. Well, that's got some mad perspective. I need to think about how actually it's very likely that there is some perspective, but it's probably going to tip up just a little bit here. Like that. And I'm doing a black band around it, and this is just going to be straight black. There's no shading here. Okay. And then we need, this is piece 1, and then it curves, no, it curves down that way. And it's almost directly in the center of his forehead. This is super technical shit. All right. Yeah, so Rolo, we won't worry too bad about does go down below the eyebrow. Yeah, we're not going to worry too much about the tattoos and the storyboards themselves. Hi, Gabby. How are you? Welcome in. Oh, my God. All right. I think it's short sideburns. And somehow no, that's right. That's why I didn't know. Oof. Okay, this is just my regular way of drawing eyebrows. I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay. Damn it, Uncle Rolo. The plus side for this character, I don't have to do geometry to get his head to spin around. Dimitri, I'm looking at you, buddy. I am super ready for lunch. I don't know what I'm gonna have, but it's probably gonna be Taco Bell. It's probably like the #1 thing Rolo complains about. He's like, I remember when Taco Bell you could get a taco for 89 cents, and he's like legitimately just angry. He's like so mad about it. He's like, you're telling me I get out of the house prison and a Taco Bell taco costs $4? He's like, that makes no sense. It's made with beef. There should be no reason for this. You jerks. Okay, so now the question is am I able to grab this and just copy it over? Because it would be ideal if I didn't have to. Drag this bad boy over here. Yeah, that's better. I don't really want to do that twice, to be honest. That'll work. I don't think he does anything extra ultra freaky in this section. What the hell is a Baja Blast? Yeah. I don't know when the Baja Blast was introduced. Let me see. 2004. Yeah, so he would have not known. Brady would be bringing home Baja Blast, and he'd be like, I don't have any idea what this is. Okay. Patch it over your head so you can go outside. Two holes, four eyes. Oh, this is gonna be the worst. These tattoos. Alright, let's see. So this is the peak. I'm going to go higher than that, where it's going to go like this. And then we got... This is not quite accurate in terms of perspective. Like that. And then we got, this goes back into the elbow. So really it's more like this, that's fine. It's just like a little swirl, it looks like an olive. I have to just remember, this one is the olive. And then it's got this, and then we've got this going on over here, and maybe like another flower, but we can't really see it, so it doesn't matter. Oh, and you know what I cannot forget, actually? And we're going to simplify this down for the sake of it all. He's got tattoos literally all along each finger because this is how this works. So, unfortunately... There we go, better. Alright, I just have to remember that this is how this is going to go over here. I think Rollo would genuinely love Baja Blast, though, to be quite honest. I definitely think he bribes the kids. He's like, hey, can you guys bring me home Taco Bell? He, like, doesn't even really get any joy out of, like, eating it at certain points of his life. But I think for a lot of the Brady's childhood, it was like, let's feed Uncle Rollo Baja Blast so he doesn't, like, nuke the whole house. Actually, I need to make sure that this is accurate. Hold on. I am a fool. Let's see. So this is like an arc down. So let's arc down that way. And her hair starts in the same place almost, so... I think it at least helps, you know? There we go. Okay, that could have been much worse. If I can get done with this, damn 3/4 angle. I just am gonna have to put a note. Oh, I should probably bring this hair down. I have to just put a note here, like do or draw without hat, so that way I don't forget to be like, yeah, this needs to be drawn with, yeah, without the hat. at some point. Tier, skull, diamond, and then we're gonna go like this, like this. Honestly, it's probably for the best that Rollo is relatively detailed because he's the primary antagonist of this particular sequence. And by primary antagonist, I really just mean that he is full of rage and he wants that $5.27 like real bad. Oh my god, Photoshop, please. I think actually I fucked this up. Yeah, I did. Better. I need some better ankle stuff here, because you gotta play the rules of perspective, play the perspective game. Okay, there we go. My brain is now fried from doing this, but I'm gonna stop here so that way I have time to do the rest of my work for the day, because that's really important. I'm gonna finish his pants, and then I'm gonna write a little note to myself so that I don't forget next time, because that would be lame. Let's see, 3/4 view, Rollo, no hat. Okay. Great. I mean, I got like 2 more seconds. Let me just, this is just shoes. And thankfully, with the simplicity of the shoe itself, it's actually really not that bad. I'd be willing to bet they're like white crew socks. This is the shit that makes my brain really happy. It's like super technical work. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to duplicate the head. Oh, man, but this will take me like 3 seconds. Nah, fuck this. Hold on. Weird disembodied floating head. Actually, I'm going to do the whole neck. Just so it can be clear. So let me get rid of this. Yes, he does have a longer neck than average. He has kind of like a craney neck and like also insanely long legs as well. Like a lot of the early concept art that I did of him. Let me see, that's the print button. I don't need that. Let me see if I have that somewhere. Yeah, a lot of the early work that I did of him and Liz when I was stylizing more, like he has, I'm shitting you not, like literally, like it's like the gorillas. His legs are just so long. Arms are long, neck is really thin and really long, and then Liz mirrors him in that way, but she's got like effectively Yzma's body type, very thin legs. And that was like when I was like a little bit more stylized with stuff. And looking at it, I was going in the right direction, but it wasn't quite there. But yes. Let me put this back over here really quick. I'm going to turn this off, and then just so that I can see what's going on. I need to, like, bring his hair up. If I can make that happen once the hat comes off, just so that I can figure out what's going on, and then maybe there's another thing of hair that comes out. I might have to do this for both or for all angles. Just so that I have some idea of what's happening here. Let me actually do that really quick for this one too. Yeah, my goal is to make these human, like human looking, but also like not boring, you know? What's what I need to say? So I do it in private. Okay, so then we got 2 more flicks of hair that come out there like that. This can go back up. Like that. And then like that, effectively. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, that's better. I'm going to try and even these out a little bit so that way they're not so, like, crowded. Alright, well, that's a thing. That's a whole time. Not bad at all. Could be worse. That's a whole thing. Alright, well, we got the thumbnails done at the very minimum. And I might... just for the sake of shit. Better. Sometimes you gotta force perspective a little bit, and I'd rather do that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and end stream. Tomorrow I won't be back because I'm taking more vacation off for all of the events that I'm doing. So I'll see you all on Wednesday for more Heavens Equals stuff. We're gonna be working on script on Wednesday. So it'll be predominantly a writing stream then. Wednesday's gonna be, never mind. Wednesday is more print, book, organization, and then also uploading everything to the website so that way this comic goes out that day. Yeah, so it'll publish, it'll launch on Wednesday. And then putting the print book together, then script. So probably it'll be art for this week, and then next week will be the first time for the script. Oh, I forgot his fangies. I looked at it. Hold on. Damn you. There we go. Better. I fixed it. Okay. Oh, and you know what I forgot too? Damn it. I'm just going to have to keep tweaking this because otherwise this is just going to be a problem. I was like, why does his neck look so naked? And it's because... it's like a hugely important part of his stupid body. Stupid. End me. Hold on, we're gonna get there. And simplify. Hold on, I got it. I promise I'm going to end this stream at some point. Why? Okay, there we go. That's the last bit of tattoo. That works. All right. So, that being said, I'm going to get out of here and then I'm going to see everybody on Wednesday. So I hope you have a good rest of your day, a good Tuesday, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.